Welcome to the Happy, Healthy Life Podcast with your hosts, Rob and Randy, who reveal the truth, the lies, and confusion about health so that you are no longer the victim to mainstream medical dogma and you are the hero to your own happy, healthy story.
Hey there, and welcome back to the Happy, Healthy Life Podcast with your host, Rob and
Randy.
And we are the Happy, Healthy Guys. Hey, today's going to be a great show. We're going to be talking about it. What is the current state of health right now in our country? We've got the MAHA movement going on right now, the Make America Healthy Again. And you know what? In order to be able to make America healthy again, we have to first understand exactly where it is that we are at.
And what is health?
And what is health? That's exactly right. And then some solutions for that. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Right now, and a lot of people look at metabolic health, which we happen to be experts in, is helping people metabolically. But people look at metabolic health as being simply, okay, you've got a good metabolism, that means that you're thin or you're skinny. If you've got a bad metabolism, that means that you're overweight. So what they're thinking that, metabolism just means that, people that have a really good metabolism must be able to burn a lot more calories than people who have a really bad metabolism. They just can't burn as many calories, and that right there is metabolism, and that really is all there is to it. Dr. Randy, is that all there is to it?
Well, there's clearly not, and I always go back to my own personal experience based off the fact that, I've never been above 10% body fat in my entire life, yet I was, 36 years old and given a late stage cancer diagnosis where, as we know and definitely now know for sure, that is a metabolic condition. That's a metabolic disruption. Cancer, like all chronic disease, are metabolic dysfunctions. That's just the facts. And this is why right now in America, we've got more treatments for more metabolic conditions, yet we still don't have one cure that we can even put a name on. Not one single cure. The pharmaceutical companies, I think they're doing like $1.52 trillion a year in profits, yet we still don't have one cure for one disease. So what does that tell us? That if you're not looking for something, you're never going to find it. And our current health model is not looking to find the cause of metabolic disease. It's looking to silo out conditions like cancer or heart disease or diabetes, and then obviously prescribe drugs, medication, and surgery to treat the symptoms of a metabolic problem. So here's what I want to say, and I may be going off script a little bit here, but we'll go back to it, is this is the most important thing you could possibly learn about health. Listen in and listen close. Every single symptom that you have in your body is the body's response of trying to heal you. Every single symptom that you have or don't have is the body's ability, and it's what the body is doing is a healing process, and it's working on getting you well. So you're saying that, having a headache is the body trying to heal itself? Well, here's what I am saying is the body's hardwired to heal, and that health is the normal and disease is the abnormal. And somebody might say, well, you know what? I've had a headache before and I took the Tylenol and the headache went away. So that must be a principle that I can rely on. But think about that. A lot of times we confuse the treatment and the outcome with getting to the cause, which is not true, because if you took Tylenol for a headache, that would mean, and your headache went away, you would now assume, well, the Tylenol was the reason that I was deficient in Tylenol, which is why I had the headache, which couldn't be further from the truth. The body's always working on getting rid of toxins and trying to heal you, which is where we go back to metabolism and health. Your metabolism is an energy system in your body that's always working on creating energy to help you heal, function, adapt, regenerate, repair. And this is what we've got to get back to as a nation. I love the MAHA movement, but if we don't start establishing what is real foundational health and getting to the causes and focus on optimizing health versus treating disease, we'll end up right back in the same situation that we ended up in, which is, a lot of time, functional medicine doctors and natural health care practitioners, they're kind of working like medical doctors. You're diagnosing and treating things instead of maybe drugs. You're getting supplements, or you're getting herbs, or you're getting diet plans. You're really not getting a plan that's going to help address you versus treating the symptom, treating the person who has the symptoms. The real issue is not that you need more help. It's really that you need no interference. Health really is the normal, and metabolism actually should be the normal. Healthy metabolism should be the normal. Yet, what does the research say right now where we're at metabolically in America?
Depending on the research that you look at, so one research study shows that 70% of people in the United States are metabolically unhealthy. There's another research study that's recently come out that shows that 93.5% of people in the United States are metabolically unhealthy. So what that means is you've got metabolic disease going on inside your body. So think about that. 9.3 out of 10 people are metabolically unhealthy. They're leading to all the things that you're talking about right now, whether it's the heart disease, the diabetes, the cancer, the Alzheimer's, the Parkinson's, all the cognitive declines. That should scare the heck out of people. And what I was doing right now, I was Googling and looking up, okay, what are solutions to metabolic problems? And everything always comes back. Here's the things that you should be doing to boost your body's metabolism. And so one says, do the right kinds of exercise. So it's an exercise solution. Another one, it says, fuel your body with protein and water. Could you be any more ambiguous than that? Another one's get the rest that you need. So here's what all these solutions right here that they're saying out there basically are eat less, move more, get more sleep is what they're saying. But what they're not saying that you have to heal metabolism at a cellular level. Poor metabolic health or metabolic disease is a cellular disease. Metabolism happens inside the cell. It's like you were talking about right now. Poor metabolism happens inside the cell to the mitochondria, not able to efficiently use whatever's coming into the cell to be able to utilize that for energy, to produce more energy or fuel that's needed for healing, for repair, for replacing old damaged cells. So if you're not healing that at a cellular level, you can get all the rest in the world. You could get all the exercise in the world, the quote, right kind of exercise. You could eat all of the protein powders on the face of the planet, and nothing is going to happen because they can't even get into the cell to begin with. And if it can't get into the cell, it ends up going into the bloodstream. If it goes into the bloodstream, any glucose that may have needed to go into the cell to be used for energy is now being utilized for fat storage instead of fat burning. And now that person is stuck, and now they're going to do another trendy quote diet or another intense workout program. They're depriving themselves of food and nutrients that they need, even really unconsciously if they're eating quote good foods, because the nutrients can't even get to the cell to begin with, and that cell is now literally starving itself to death. So it's no wonder that we've got a metabolic epidemic and crisis happening right now in our country. And it's not even just our country, it is all over the world. And it really is sad that there is not a solution being given and happening at a true cellular level, until we ended up having our own metabolic program, which we had to do because there were no metabolic solutions that were out there addressing the cause of the problem. Everything still was a version of the traditional model, which was all diet and exercise related. So if we're going to really overcome this metabolic epidemic, we're going to have to get to the cause of the problem, or else we're going to see more people with cancer, which we're already seeing, more people with heart disease, more people with all of these chronic illnesses than ever before, and they'll stay in that traditional model, and they're going to start taking more and more and more drugs. So we have to get to the cause, and we have to be part of the solution.
Yeah, that's why we do what we do. Our pain is our purpose. And you look at, the top killers in America, it's cancer, it's heart disease, it's diabetes. What do all three of those conditions have in common? Metabolic dysfunction, insulin resistance. These are all metabolic problems that have real metabolic solutions. Yet these diseases, I say diseases, they're taking out 5 out of 6 of us. So you take 6 people in a room, 5 of them are going to die of heart disease, stroke, cancer, or diabetes. Those are the numbers. But yet all these conditions should never, ever, ever happen. They're not happening because we've got bad genetics or that we're getting older or you just got dealt a bad poker hand. These are happening because right now in America, we're essentially, we're being poisoned to death. So you've got to start looking at, taking real accountability of your health and going, you know what, if what everybody's doing is getting this result, then I want to do the complete opposite. And I don't want to follow the traditional way of treating disease, waiting to get sick, going to your doctor. And what's sad is I talk about those diseases, the 5 out of 6 things that are killing all of us, it seems like. The number one cause of death is actually, which outpaces heart disease, cancer. And I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing. It's really not funny. The number one disease killer is actually going to your doctor and following their advice. It's called iatrogenesis. This is medically induced death. You go to your doctor, they give you a diagnosis, you follow their advice, you take their drug, you go through their surgery. This right here is killing more people than anything in recorded history. We've talked about this. Right now, the American healthcare system has a net death benefit. If the entire system went away today, no more drugs, no more doctors, no more hospitals, more people would live. Would some people die? Absolutely. More people would live if there was no system. So how could it be that we're going to doctors to try to cure these metabolic problems that have no interest in looking to find the cause of the problem to begin with, and their own advice based off the research and the data says what they're going to tell you to do could actually kill you or injure you or make you sick? I'm just not going to turn my health over to anybody who went to school for 10 years that's trained by a drug company. Don't turn your health over to us either, but we don't have anybody teaching us pharmaceutical, tendencies and baking in this disease model. Remember, there is only 2 conditions you're going to have in life. You're going to be diagnosed with a disease, or you're going to realize that you don't have disease, that you have dys-ease, which makes you responsible for your health. Disease makes victims out of everybody. Dis-ease is interference to the body's ability to adapt and heal, which is something that you have control over. Disease is incurable. Dis-ease is curable. These are completely different concepts. So metabolic health isn't a disease. It's a dis-ease, which means you have the ability to do something about it. So what disrupts and destroys our metabolism? Well, obviously, we're not saying don't eat right, because we know that foods play a role. And most of the food that we're eating, Dr. Rob, I think you would agree, it's not built for human consumption. It is built for shelf life. So now everybody, we're eating more processed food, more foods that are refined, stripped of the nutrients, that are loaded in, artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners, processed sugar, industrial seed oil. Remember, if food does not go bad in 2 weeks, that food is not real. That is fake. It's not meant to be consumed. It's not nutrient. There's no nutrients in this food. Whatever in there is fake, because if it won't deteriorate, it will not deteriorate in you. So obviously looking at the foods you're eating are an important thing. Obviously toxins that are in our foods, but also in our environment, which is why we've really, done pantry makeovers with people. We've gone into their homes, getting out all of the chemical toxins. Heck, our homes are some of those toxic places you could possibly live in, which is mind-blowing. Get outside, get your feet on the ground, get sun in your eyes, breathe fresh air. These are basic things, but they do play a huge role in your metabolic health. And the medical community is just not going to talk about this. I'm really hopeful the MAHA movement seems to be talking about some of this. So I'm hopeful that this message is going to start to be stronger and stronger, and we're going to keep changing the cultural conversations about what real health is.
Yeah, I think the solution is and it's super simple. I'm a simple person. I don't know if you guys ever watched Seinfeld or wherever Seinfeld fans, but there was an episode, I don't know if you guys remember this, but on Seinfeld, where George Costanza, his life was a wreck. And so he decided that he was going to start doing the opposite of what it is that he was doing. So if a thought came into his head to eat something, he said, you know what, I'm going to do the opposite of that. he literally ends up turning his life around. He ends up getting opposite day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ends up getting a job. He gets a great paying job. He gets a girlfriend. He ends up finding a place to live. All these things happened as a result of him doing the opposite. So I think that right there could be the strategy, is that you just do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. And I think it's interesting as well, whenever we're at different places. I know, like, for myself, I have coffee with my kids every morning at this cafe down the street, and it's always interesting listening to people having conversations that are like literally right next to you, because the conversation always swings over to health. And I call it the idiot comparison. The idiot comparison is two people that really don't understand and have any idea what it is that they're doing about health, comparing what each other is doing in order to be able to somehow get a better result. And so they're comparing whether or not
Blind leading the blind.
it's the blind leading the blind. They're comparing whether or not the latte that they're drinking that has the Splenda in it would be better than drinking the latte in it that has the equal packet in it, or the regular sugar. And so it's funny, because I'm like, well, there's a lot of things wrong with exactly what it is that you are doing right now. And I don't think it's the latte that's your issue. It's just you not knowing what in the world you're doing is the issue. And so we got to stop that idiot comparison and really start telling people what they really should be doing in healing their body at a metabolic level, right? People always ask me the question too. They're like, do you just cringe when you're out in public and you're seeing what people are doing? You know what? I used to cringe about it, and I also used to be that person that would walk up to him and go, "Hey, do you know that right there is actually killing you?" So I ended up becoming the asshole or the jerk for doing that. Now I just look at folks and really just pray for them, and I really pray for our country that we would do a much better job of educating people on what true health actually is. And yeah, if I know the person, I'm going to say something to them for sure. But a lot of people have been so indoctrinated in thinking the way it is that they're thinking, that they are not going to budge from whatever it is that they're doing. So the best thing that I can do, the best thing that you can do, especially for the folks that listen to us all the time, is you be a model for the people around you. I just started going to a new men's church group, and it's interesting because nobody knows what it is that I do for a living. Nobody's asked the question. But even just sitting in there, and I've only been to this new group now 2 times, and they meet at a restaurant. Yesterday we were actually meeting at one of the church buildings, but they're all eating all of their whatever their food is that they got at this restaurant. And then last night somebody had brought in like a bunch of slider burgers, and they're asking me, if I want some, and I'm like, no, that's okay. I don't eat that. But thank you for offering. I'm very gracious, and there's nothing wrong with them, because they're kind enough to be able to provide that for us. However, as soon as we wrap up, somebody comes up to me and they're like, you look like you're really healthy, and I noticed that you didn't eat what what everybody else was eating. Is there a reason for that? And it was a great way to be able to open up conversation, but that happens when you're modeling that behavior. And so I think that as for you guys that are listeners, when you are going to the grocery store, when you are going out to eat, you model that behavior, and the people around you are going to start following you, especially those of you who are parents. If you've got kids, you know what? Kids do exactly what you do. People ask us all the time, "Hey, can you tell me what I should be telling my kids that they should be eating?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to tell you what you should be eating, and you start eating those things, and then your kid will eat those things." Or they'll always ask me, "How did you get your kids to make healthier decisions?" I made healthier decisions. That's how I got my kids to do that, because I wasn't going to bring anything into the house that was going to be toxic to them or kill them. And so that's all they've ever known. So they don't eat that stuff. So that's how I did that. It was just modeling that behavior, being that person that I wanted to become. And then the next thing you know, you're doing those things.
Yeah, that's that right there is it. It's like right now with this metabolic crisis and wanting to see change, A lot of people are asking and wanting a top-down change, and we do need policy change. We do need to get poisons out of our food. We'd be the first ones to endorse that. But really, the real change won't be top-down. You cannot trust or rely on a top-down change. It's a bottom-up change. And a bottom-up change is like what you just said. It's you taking personal responsibility for your health and then leading your family by you giving them permission, the people in your circle, the people who are your friends, who are your family, to know that, you know what, it's okay to be intentional with your health and live a life that's different, because we just don't want to get what everybody else is getting, and we want to take people with us. But the best way to take people with you is to start leading by example, which is why I love our clients that we get to work with at Happy Healthy, Dr. Rob, because they are the people that have chosen to make the changes, to not make excuses, to not blame genetics, right? To not blame their age, to not pray or turn their health over to an insurance company or a government agency or the medical industrial complex. They're like, no, it will be a bottom-up change, and it starts with me, and my story can change somebody else's life. Remember, some people really need a story more than they need food. What does that mean? It means they need hope. They need to know that it could be done. They need to know that what they're hoping and praying for has already been done by somebody else. And if they could just see it, if they could just hear about it, it gives them permission and it gives them the courage to know that they can do it as well, which is why I love sharing our client stories with so many people. And I love it that our clients love to share their stories. You just don't know how powerful that is. When somebody can connect to your story, you really do help them know that it's possible that something can be done. So let's share some of these transformational stories. You guys have been pouring in to our inbox your metabolic transformation. So let's talk about some of these.
Yeah, let's do it. So here we've got one right here. This is what I love about this, because a lot of people come into our program with the goal of being able to lose weight and then keep the weight off. So what I love more than the weight loss results for us are easy, okay? I love the non-weight loss results.
Yeah.
And so like this one right here says, this person says that she has more energy, she's clearer thinking, better frame of mind, and she's now going shopping for new clothes. I love that.
Yeah, this next one here she says, I'm sleeping through the night, kind of a big deal. Gallbladder issues disappeared, hot flashes disappeared, no more reflux, and great energy. Didn't hear anything about the weight. I don't know how much weight she lost, but those are all symptoms, by the way, of metabolic disease. If you don't sleep well, you're metabolically sick. If you've got a gallbladder problem, that's an organ dysfunction. You don't emulsify fat. It's going to wreck your hormones, and it's going to cause your body to have gastrointestinal problems, which is all part of metabolic dysfunction. Roll back over there, Dr. Rob. I couldn't see that. Yeah, so gallbladder issues, hot flashes. Hot flashes are metabolic problems. These are hormone disruptions that are based on metabolic disruptions, things like insulin, glucagon, leptin, cortisol, being insulin resistant. If you don't have energy, that is a metabolic symptom. Acid reflux, metabolic symptoms. So all of those metabolic symptoms disappeared, yet we weren't treating any of those symptoms. We were getting to the cause versus going to a traditional medical doctor or even a nutritionist. And they're like trying to treat all of these conditions from the outside in versus creating an environment where great things are more likely to happen. Great job there. That is awesome.
This one right here says, this one I lost 59 pounds. Said I used to have heart rate issues when hiking. I can hike a lot faster without losing my breath. So I love that right there, because, you know, as we get older, a lot of us are just taught that as you get older, it's just what happens. You're not going to have the energy that you used to. You're going to be out of breath. You're not going to be able to hike. You're not going to be able to do those things. And this person right here, as she's getting older, is now able to do those things that, way better than what she was doing before.
Speaking of what's normal in getting older with metabolism, you know, we talked about how the research shows everybody's metabolically sick at this point, yet the research doesn't support that. In fact, there was a study done, the largest of its kind. I believe it was released out of Duke University, The doctor, I believe, was Herman Ponzer. And what they did, they were tackling the question of, does your metabolism slow down as you get older? Because most people, what do we think? We think, well, once I hit 35, then my metabolism shut down, or once I hit 50, or you're kind of identifying an age where things begin to get harder. Although that's common, the study said, wait a second, maybe that's not true. So obviously, when you're born, you got this rock star metabolism. And really, from the time that you're born to the time of 1 years old, your metabolism is very, very strong. But here's the thing, from age 1 to around age 18, your metabolism does take a slight dip because you're not growing as much as you were from that birth to 1 years old. So there's a little bit of a dip, but it's pretty steady up until you're about 18. But here's the thing, from around 18 years old, all the way up to age 60, your metabolism doesn't change at all. There isn't any change in your metabolism. So the whole thing that, well, once I got out of college or I had kids or I hit 30, 40, or 50, it isn't true. The data didn't support that. And even over 60, the research showed that maybe your metabolism might drop 7% each additional decade, but that's only true if you're not metabolically healthy. So remember, your age isn't the problem. You can have incredible metabolic health at any age, and the data really supports that. And it makes more sense to me because we already know health is the normal and disease is the abnormal, and dyshyphanes is something that you can change because you're in control of your environment, a lot of the things that you're doing to yourself that are making you sick.
Yeah, here's another one. It says, this one's really cool. It says, I feel like my brain is starting to function again. I'm thinking more clearly. I am hopeful again. I feel so positive every morning, getting on the scale. Even when I don't lose, I know that I need to keep going because the results do come. I love that for so many reasons. One of those reasons being that right now one of the biggest issues and diseases that is out there is cognitive decline, whether it's Alzheimer's, whether it's Parkinson's, whether it's any of those brain diseases that are happening, and the fact that they say that those things are irreversible, and this person is telling us that their brain is starting to function again. That right there is amazing, which is why she is hopeful again. That's why that does give hope to other people who think that, that's a death sentence, that it's not going to get, and it's not going to get better. And I also love that she says that I feel so positive in the morning getting on the scale. So for a lot of people, getting on the scale every morning, they don't want to do that because that scale defines who they are. She's no longer allowing that scale to define who it is that she is. She's now defined by the fact that she is an overcomer and she was able to overcome those challenges that were happening before. So I love that. It's amazing. And the reason she was able to overcome it is because she was given a step-by-step plan that wasn't hard. It was customized. It was specific to her and not somebody else. It was something that was giving her fast wins, fast results. I think one of the reasons why people quit doing things is because they're not getting results. She got them quickly. Not only did she get them quickly, they're long lasting. In other words, she's not ever going back to where she was before, and she's proud of where she's at, which is completely different than what it is that everybody else is doing through diet and exercise. That's not addressing the cause. That's not addressing the metabolism. So that's why I love the wins that we get, because it's not just about losing the weight, although losing the weight is great. Looking better and feeling better in your own skin and being able to get new clothes, those are all great things. Having more confidence, that's a great thing as well. But just the way that she said that really inspires me as well.
No, and what I'm seeing there is she's saying, you know what? I'm no longer going to be a victim. I'm no longer going to blame other things that I have no control over. I'm going to take responsibility, because really, like you talked about, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, those are all metabolic conditions. They're type 3, 4, and 5 diabetes, which is dis-ease. You can cure dis-ease. You can't cure disease. There's no cure for Parkinson's, but there is a cure for insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction, which is why we created our metabolism program, to get to the root cause of why you're metabolically sick. So not only can you lose weight, but you can really begin to heal at a cellular level, detox your body, repair, regenerate, really start burning calories and healing on a completely different level. That's the pure testament to just what somebody who's committed to making a change and doing the work, what the body is capable of. Here's another one here from Sue Myers, one of our good friends. I know she won't care if we mention her name because she's always on here. She says, no more hot flashes, decreased inflammation. Once again, these are metabolic dysfunction symptoms, better sleep, normal blood pressure. How cool is that? Normal blood sugar, more energy. Every one of these symptoms, hot flashes, inflammation, poor sleep, blood pressure, blood sugar, low energy, are metabolic disease symptoms that if you went to your traditional doctor, they would give you a drug for every single one of these conditions, and not one of those conditions is caused by a lack of chemicals. Remember, if you give drugs to a healthy person, it makes them sick. I was giving drugs to a sick person going to make them healthy. It's all about healing your unique metabolism. Great job, Sue. That's an incredible story. What a transformation. That's just like medically impossible. And she did this in a very short amount of time.
It's great too, because especially as women get older, these are all the things that they tell you are normal. Okay.
Totally.
They're not normal. They're common, but it's not normal. So people that are like, hey, do you work with people who have already gone through menopause? The answer to that question, yes. She has no more hot flashes, the decreased inflammation, better sleep, normal blood pressure, normal blood sugar, doing all those things without doing medication. So that right there should give you hope as you're getting older. And if you don't know what to do, here's a simple place to start. Go to metabolismscore.com. If you are not one of our clients, if you're not one of the people that have already worked with us, but you're hearing this going, you know what? How do I get the help that I'm looking for? Go to metabolismscore.com, fill that out, find out what your score is, and then it's going to tell you exactly what it is that you need to do next in order to be able to heal your metabolism. So we make it simple for you. In fact, one of the things that a lot of people, talk to us about, so we ended up developing this. And it's something that we've been talking about for a long time, and it's actually getting launched. A lot of our clients even want to know when this is happening, but we are launching our Happy Healthy Gut Health program this week. So many of you guys have been asking us, when is this happening? It is happening right now. One of the things that we do know is that you have what's called a gut-brain axis. In other words, your gut is directly linked to your brain. Your brain controls everything in your body. So it literally, if you truly do want to have 100% optimal health, you have to have a healthy gut. So for many people who have already gone through our program, this is the next step for them. Is we always want to make sure that you have an environment where health and healing is a lot more likely to happen. It's a lot more likely to happen when you have a healthier gut, which is why we're doing this. And so look for all of the promotion that's happening around that. So shameless plug, not so shameless plug, because this is something that we feel like everybody on the planet needs.
No, they do. It's essential, and it's all getting back to foundational metabolic health. Everything that we produce, make, endorse, are things that we do for ourselves personally have gotten the result. To come up and release this new program, we've been in the lab, been working with a lot of different strategies and really seeing what it's doing for our own health. And I'm loving this. So yeah, you remember, be back in control of your health. Don't turn it over to anybody. Don't even turn it over to us. You take charge of your journey. You're not a victim. God made you to be healthy. Don't ever forget that. I've said this a million times, and I'll say it a million more. The greatest doctor in the world is on the inside of each and every one of you. 1 John 4:4 says, greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. It is not a religious statement. It is a fact. Our body is hardwired to heal. Disease is the abnormal. Health is the normal. Disease and health are the same thing. The body doing the right thing under the circumstances that you potentially have created, maybe to no fault of your own. Take charge of your health. Jump on this podcast, share this podcast, let people know, like it, review it. We would love to have a positive review. If you're getting value, tell other people about this, because this is that bottom-up strategy we're talking about, Dr. Rob. It will not be a top-down solution. It never will be. It always starts with the person that you see when you wake up and look in the mirror.
Yes, Sylvia, you're welcome. She says, yes, yes, yes to everything you said. Love you. And also, I love this one right here. Sharon says, I love you guys, needed this today.
Aw, thank you, Sharon.
You know what? I think there's people who were listening today that they needed this as well. They needed to know that there is hope, that their body is created and has been created to heal. You just need to know what to do. You need to have an established baseline on where you're at. So once you know where you're at, you can be able to know exactly where it is that you're going. We're here to be able to help you. If you ever have questions, you can DM us at the H2 Life on Instagram. We are here to help you. Also, we just had a question. This is a good question. For those of you who are interested in doing the metabolism program, what's the difference between the metabolism program and the gut health program? Can doing a metabolism program help you with your gut? The answer to that is yes. However, when we are looking and doing the metabolism program, what we're really doing is looking at the disease to the cell that is blocking your cell's ability to have a healthy metabolism that happens inside the cell. We start looking at, and so as a byproduct of that, can your gut become healthier? Yeah, absolutely. But that program isn't focused on your gut health. It's focused on your metabolism. So with the gut health program, that is focused specifically on having a healthier gut. So the food that is coming into the body, you can be able to have more bioavailable nutrients to be able to get to those cells. So it is different. Would you answer that any other different way than that?
No, we can dive in deeper here in just a second, the office hours with our clients. But yeah, no, listen, it's a part of one of the systems of the body that really right now, almost nobody has a healthy gut microbiome. So a lot of people who go through our metabolism program, you are able to heal. This is going to take it to a different level. So we're always going to just add more layers to this metabolic journey that we're really all on, right? And we just all want to guide and learn and grow and continue to get better. So this is just another step in that right direction. And I'm super excited about it. I know you are as well. And you guys are going to absolutely love that. So we'll be back with more information on that. And in the meantime, once again, share the show. Tell people about what's going on. Let's all be a part of the change. And it starts with you. Don't ever forget that. You're not broken. You're made in perfection. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Don't ever forget it.
Have a happy, healthy day.
Thanks for listening to the Happy, Healthy Life podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure to follow them on Instagram at the H2 Life or on YouTube and Facebook at the Happy Healthy Guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts.